Good morning, welcome to NMS. So I was asked if I could do a bicep video similar to the chest video I did the other day. And so I'm going to go and point out a few things with biceps that I think are important when you're training your biceps so that your shoulders don't do a lot of the work, okay? And also your forearms. Now, a lot of it has to do with the fact that, first of all, positioning of your shoulders and then positioning of your wrists and also sometimes the grip, okay? So, number one, okay, when I do my curls, I lean myself slightly forward, okay? I still have my shoulders locked back, but I lean slightly forward. And when I do a curl, right, I actually extend the triceps to get the full stretch in the bicep, right? And then I come up to here. I don't stand fully upright. I know it sounds weird, but I'm not fully upright, right? And the reason I don't do that is because when you do that, you tend to sort of load the shoulders. But if I've got my elbows hanging, I'm not loading my shoulders anymore, okay? Now you can see that is just basically curls. Now the other thing is your forearms, okay? If you let your wrist go like that at the bottom of a curl, and then you come up and you actually turn your wrists up, you're going to get a lot of wrist flexors, okay? And what you'll end up doing is rather than getting a nice squeeze in the bicep at the top, a lot of people tend to do this. Okay, they don't get that part, right? They just get more, they squeeze the actual forearm flexors, okay? Now, what that does is then is, like, rather than getting elbow flexion, you're now getting wrist flexion and you're putting it on the forearms. The other thing that people do, okay, if you're using an easy curl bar, I put the weight, once again, in that meaty part of the hand, okay? And what I do then is, I'm curling through this part of the hand, so I push that into the curl bar and I try to relax the outside of my hand so that when I'm curling, I'm actually doing more of an actual flexion using my biceps versus if I actually go and grip it a lot with my thumb, I'm now putting it onto my brachialis and brachialis radialis. So what it's essentially doing is rather than curling like this and using a lot of this muscle here and this here, what I'm actually doing now is I'm putting it onto this part of my hand, which then loads the bicep up more. So rather than sort of feeling like I'm curling inwards, I now feel like I'm sort of opening outwards more, if you know what I mean. Now, I still use an easy curl bar because I find that straight bars are too straight and it hurts my wrists and it also gives me golfer's elbow. I like to use an easy curl bar, but when I'm actually doing an easy curl bar, I'm still putting the weight onto that meaty part of the hand so the biceps get activated better, okay? So those are the things I like to do to make sure that the biceps are working well on my curls. If I'm doing dumbbells, I also like to go and have more weight on that part of the hand and turn the dumbbells out a little bit so that I get a nice flex in the biceps, okay? And I try not to, at all times, be moving through my wrists as much. I keep them neutral, okay? So, first of all, shoulder position, elbow position, extend the tricep, okay? Thirdly, okay, don't go through the wrists, don't move through the wrist. It's coming from the elbow flexors, not from the wrist flexors. And the other thing is obviously that, putting the weight in the right part of the hand, okay? And making sure that when you curl, it's not this sort of action. It's just a curl, okay? Now, people say the supination is part of the biceps. Yes, it is. I do that on dumbbells. I supinate the dumbbells, okay? But obviously, I'm not too worried about that as being an exact part of my curl. But I do that more just so that I don't get like a lot of pain through the bicep tendon at the bottom of a curl when I'm doing dumbbells, especially when I'm doing an incline curl and my arms are back like this. I actually let it go neutral and then I supinate and curl up. Hopefully that video helps you guys. I'm going to leave this up same as I did my chest one. Please like, comment, share. If you got anything to add to it, by all means, guys, because not only am I here to try and help you, but if you got some useful information, great. Put it down, make a comment, and I'll talk to you next time. Thanks for listening.